you noticed that the moment you're about to have a breakthrough is often the moment that you come down the hardest on yourself? It's like you're standing at the door of change, hand on the doorknob, and instead of turning it, you turn back and you punish yourself by contemplating your past and past decision for not arriving any sooner to where you are at now. Welcome to Unbox the Podcast. I'm Sahar Huneidi Palmer. This is season 25, episode 30, where we explore how to rewrite your story and reclaim your power. Today, we're unboxing a very real pattern that I've noticed in my work as a life mentor. When my clients are right at the edge of a major breakthrough, a major shift, that is when the old story of self-blame kicks in the hardest. The mind replays the past in a never-ending loop. The inner voice says, "Why didn't I listen to myself any sooner? Why did I settle for crumbs? Why did I trust that person when I knew something was off and I deserve better?" Sounds familiar? Here's the thing. Resentment is the loop that keeps you small, keeps you stuck, keeps you from moving forward in your life. Can we be honest? When you keep replaying that loop, you're not learning from it. You're locking yourself even further. I had a client who was just about to make a life-changing decision, leaving a job that really drained her, although she really enjoyed the work. Instead of celebrating how far she's come, she spiraled into self-punishment. Why didn't I quit many years ago? Why didn't I listen to my gut feeling? That resentment didn't help her quit any faster. It almost stopped her from moving forward, creating a new chapter. This is what I call the guilt trap. And here's the problem with this. You think you're becoming more self-aware. You think that you're holding yourself accountable, but holding ourselves accountable through realizing that we create our own life has got nothing to do with self-flagellation. I'm not suggesting you do that by holding yourself accountable. You fall into the guilt trap. When you live in guilt, you are less likely to change. Awareness is self-empowering. When you go through that guilt trip, you are not empowering yourself. So it's not in alignment with where you want to go. You're most likely to punish yourself by staying stuck. So what do? Well, the truth is, compassion is the missing piece. What you actually need at the moment of breakthrough is the opposite of punishment. You need compassion so that you keep unfolding easily and with joy. Give yourself a pat on the shoulder for the progress that you've made so far. However small it is, it might seem small to you, but to people around you, they will notice the change. Listen to people who nurture that growth. You're the only one who is self-criticizing. You're here now with more awareness than you've ever had before. That in itself is a huge achievement and a huge shift. There's a great saying in Arabic, every container spills out what's inside it. If you speak Arabic, that is كل إناء ينضح بما فيه. So ask yourself, did you want to paint your next chapter, which is a new blank canvas, with guilt, with sordid line of thinking, with self-punishment? Or would you rather use and implement the wisdom and use the color of wisdom that you've achieved so far? But this is why you do it. Self-blame feels safer, but actually it isn't. Let's break this down through the 4 dimensions of change, or the BIMA methodology. First, on the first foundation layer, we've got the physical body. When you come down on yourself, your body tightens, all the stress signals go up, Your brain will understand that you're threatened and it will release order to a surge of hormones that will make you even tighter, more stressed, more depressed. You trigger your stress response. That is not growth. That is survival mode. Rather than using your neocortex, which as human beings, as mammals, we are the only mammals who can self soothe, analyze, synthesize, and plan. That is growth. The second dimension of change is emotions. Self resentment builds into anger. But if you don't process it healthily, it turns inwards. You become toxic to yourself. So you're actually hurting and harming yourself. The next level up is the mind. The mind loves to replay the past because it's familiar, it's easy, it doesn't have to create new neural networks or loops. But that loop is not helping you. Replaying that broken record is not helping you to make better choices today. In fact, it's helping you stay stuck and not make any choices at all, although consciously you do know that you need to make any decision at all to move forward, but you're not making it. And the final dimension is accountability. Real accountability isn't about punishment. It's about owning your growth with compassion. In the last episode, we spoke about the power of love, of authentic communication, that when words arise from the heart, they reach the heart. Accountability is a continuation of that. It's about letting go of perfection, realizing, okay, I've done that, I can undo it by taking the right action, and very soon you will be back in alignment. Let's talk about the permission trap. Many of you wrote to me, and I also have this group on WhatsApp, private group that I call the Unbox Collective. It's for clients whom I've worked with really closely, and we all share and they ask questions, and whatever it is about, I answer and we converse in real time. Many also in that group message me separately, directly to say that they still feel they need permission to be who they are. Another client said, I have to be perfect before I take the action. This is just another form of delay, another way of keeping yourself in the box, of keeping yourself, the real you, the person you're becoming, on hold. Let me tell you the truth. Nobody is going to come along with a golden ticket saying, you're ready, go for it. It's you who has to claim that moment for yourself. Here's a client story to demonstrate how you can break the pattern. One of my clients recently kept saying, I can't make a decision because of what if I get it wrong again? She had a track record of ignoring her inner voice and regretting it later. But here's what we worked on together. Instead of saying, why did I mess up before? She started asking, what have I learned from those experiences? I helped her to realize how she became a completely new person through the drama and the trauma that she went through. When you ask, what have I learned from that experience? How can it guide me now to making better decisions? Your brain will start working in a different way. The moment my client adopted that practice, she stopped punishing herself and her decision became clear. She stepped forward and she didn't collapse under guilt this time. And so can you. Stop the analysis, which can be paralysis. It's almost like being on a rocking chair. It gives you something to do, but nowhere to go. I read that saying somewhere and it really stuck in my mind. Worry, guilt, that loop. Why didn't I do this before? Why didn't I do this before? Okay, that moment has passed. You're now here. And what is needed is your action, your plan, your moving forward consciously now. But here's something I'd like you to really realize, take on board. Your story isn't your sentence. Yes, it may have colored our past, but let me remind you, The story you've been living is not a life sentence, it's just a chapter. And you can write a new one starting today. But you can't write it if you're using the old ink, those guilty colors of regret. So here's your shift. Instead of asking, why didn't I listen to my intuition, or why didn't I listen to myself, or why didn't I act on my feelings, ask, how can I listen better now? Maybe you need to step back a little bit. Maybe you need to wait a little longer before you decide on something until you can see the whole pattern building up, the whole picture building up. Instead of saying, I don't deserve more than crumbs, say, I see the pattern. I'm changing now. Something like that. I was like that before. That is not enough for me now. Let's pause for a moment. Take a deep breath. Think of one area in your life where you've been hard on yourself. Now put your hand on your heart and say, I'm proud of the progress I've made so far. I trust myself to keep going. I trust myself to make decisions that make my heart sing. Say it out loud. Let your body feel it in every cell. Well done. You've just started. Here are my final thoughts. The real you is waiting. Growth is messy. It doesn't come wrapped up in perfection, but it does come with practice. And the moment you feel that hesitation and self-loathing and self-reproach is the moment you need to apply what you have become. Practice compassion. Practice new choices. Practice giving yourself a tap on the shoulder. Practice trusting your inner compass, even if you've ignored it before. Before is back then. Now is now. There's a great quote, the past is a foreign country. People act differently. The past is really a foreign country. I don't regret personally my past because I don't see how I would have made different choices, because at that moment, I was a product of those circumstances at that point in time. And because of these circumstances, I've changed to who I am now. Isn't that a nice thought, that one can just lie down, relax peacefully, and think, I don't have any regrets? Because if you rewind your movie, you will see how every scene led to the next, and so on. But now that you know what the scenario is, you can start to consciously write a new one. And please remember, if you yell at your child or your pet, they will not respond well. They actually don't. They shut down. Animals stop listening to us. They think we are mad. They don't understand why we're yelling at them. And the same thing with your inner self. When you berate yourself, you disconnect from the real you. You disconnect from your truth of I am in charge of my life and I can build the life that I want. When you encourage yourself, you align with the real you, with who you are, with your growth, with your life path. Thank you for listening to Unbox the podcast. I'm Sahar Palmer. I'm here to help you rewrite your story and reclaim your power. If this episode resonated with you, I invite you to book a discovery session with me. We will explore where you are at and where you want to go so that you can break through the patterns that keep you stuck. I'll leave the link in the notes so that you can take the assessment and begin your journey. Please remember to subscribe so that you never miss a future episode. I need your support as an indie podcaster to get this podcast out to many people. And you may want to know, 54 countries are listening to this podcast. I don't know who you are, but thank you. You have my gratitude and thanks. See you next week.